Hey, welcome to So Awkward. Don and Jester here, and we just saw the new Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow. So, Jester, what did you think? Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be dark in a few hours.
And curl up by the fire and open a bottle of wine. We should just reset.
Whoa!
So I'm here alone in my car today because Jester refused to see this movie with me. And since this movie just opened at number 3, I believe, and the theater that I just saw it in was pretty empty, I'm assuming that nobody wants to see this movie, which is a shame because it's actually pretty great. I really liked it. I think there were a couple other people in the theater. It was me and maybe like 3 other guys around my age. And I saw this in the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota, which I believe is the biggest shopping mall in the entire world. And yeah, it's Monday at like noon, but still. You'd think there'd be more people here, and it doesn't really bode well for this film. For some reason, people don't like Tom Cruise. Maybe because he jumped around on Oprah's couch, or because he argued with Matt Lauer, or because he's a Scientologist. Those are the 3 main things that I hear. Or number 4, I guess, is that he's obnoxious. I like him. I've always liked him. I don't watch Oprah. I don't watch Matt Lauer, so I have no reason to dislike him. I judge him just based on his movies, and I think he's a really good actor. And he's made some movies that I haven't cared for, but he's never made anything really terrible. I think he usually chooses interesting scripts and works with pretty good directors. And this movie, I thought, was one of his best.
I can't believe you found coffee.
Sugar, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. 3. You like 3.
It also doesn't bode well for the film that when I went in to buy my ticket, I didn't know what it was called. I've seen the trailer for this movie before every movie I've seen all year, and I just never clicked. I went up, and the lady at the ticket counter asked me what I wanted, and I had no fucking idea what this movie was called. I scanned the thing. Luckily, there was a poster that had Tom Cruise's picture on it, and it said, I'm pretty sure it's called Edge of Tomorrow. Hold on. Edge of Tomorrow, yeah. Not a great title. Could have been a little catchier. In a nutshell, the film is basically, I've heard it described as Groundhog Day meets Starship Troopers, and it's pretty accurate. It's basically the same plot as Groundhog Day, where Tom Cruise, instead of Bill Murray, keeps repeating the same day over and over again. But luckily for the audience, that day is really epic. It's the day of this big D-Day style invasion of Europe, which has been taken over by aliens of some sort. And we learn a little bit about why he keeps repeating the same day over, but it's sci-fi gobbledygook nonsense that's just there so we can have a film. But the explanation was good enough and made sense just enough that it allowed for the groundwork of the film, which was really clever and action-packed, and I would describe it as an epic action sci-fi extravaganza. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I mean, if you don't like Tom Cruise, you're not going to like it because it's Tom Cruise. He's in every scene. He's the star of the film. But I think as his performances go, he's really low-key. His performance is really subtle. He didn't do a whole lot of that, that smiling thing that he does. That's something that I think everybody hates. And he didn't do, the running thing. I mean, he was wearing this suit, so he ran in the suit, but it wasn't, that Tom Cruise run that he does in every movie. But he does a really good job, and he kind of plays against type. Like, I don't want to spoil too much about the story. He starts as like this cowardly guy who doesn't even want to fight. And I thought that was pretty interesting, and he played it pretty well. And his whole story arc really worked well. And he did seem to grow as a character. And a lot of that is because of Tom Cruise's great performance. I think he's a good actor. I like Tom Cruise. I'm not ashamed to admit that. We also had Emily Blunt, I believe is her name, is the red-headed British woman who was really awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything before. She looks familiar to me, but that might just because she looks like Kate Winslet a little bit, because she's British and redhead and gorgeous. She kind of stole the movie. I mean, she was stoic and didn't talk much, but her performance was really good, and you really came to love her character as... I mean, it's kind of a love story. Tom Cruise falls in love with her because he keeps living with her over and over and over again for like however infinite number of days. And there's one scene in particular where they keep showing it over and over again where she's doing like yoga and she lifts herself up and she looks at the camera and you're just going to fall in love with her. And she's a really good actress. And I'd be interested in seeing her in more stuff.
How did you do that?
Come on!
Come find me when you wake up.
Bill Paxton is in there. He's got a small role, but it's Bill Paxton, so even with a small role, he takes it and he makes it the best thing about any movie. He plays a Marine drill sergeant type, and he's hilarious, but he's also really convincing in that role. And every time he's on screen, he steals every scene he's in. He's super funny, and he's just Bill Paxton.
Boy, you just said a mouthful. As I chew on this mint, let me contemplate that.
One thing I'll say about this movie, even if you can't follow the story, even if you don't like the performances, you will never be bored. It just never stopped. But in a good way. Like, there was action sequences in this movie that I've never seen before. Even though all the pieces taken on their own kind of do feel like other things, like Groundhog Day. The aliens look like something from Starship Troopers. The beach invasion looks like Saving Private Ryan and that kind of thing. But what they did with it was so clever and so captivating that it really, as a whole, is its own unique, original, thought-provoking science fiction film, which is one of the best action sci-fi films I've ever seen. I thought it was great. If you like action sci-fi, you got no reason to miss this one, especially on the big screen, because it is a spectacle. I will say that as science fiction, while it was clever and thought-provoking and unique and just brilliant in its own way, I don't really know what the overall moral was or point to the story. Like, I don't know what the filmmakers or the storytellers were trying to say, or even if they were trying to say anything. They may have just been trying to make an epic sci-fi action film, which is how I took it and how I loved it. But as science fiction, it maybe needed a little bit more than just star-crossed love story, time travel, alien invasion. But I did really like it. I enjoyed it. It was exciting. It was funny. I really cared about the characters. I cared about the story. I wanted them to save the Earth and defeat the bad guys. And I definitely recommend everybody check it out. It'd be a shame if this movie wasn't a hit and didn't make money, just because it is unique, even though it feels like other movies. But as a whole, it's a really intelligent, well done sci-fi film, and I think everybody should go see it. Don't you agree, Jester? Oh yeah.
What are you not telling me?